Brought up by a stern mother, Tarek found support from his father and his uncles. But it was close friends who molded his life. From an eventful childhood to school and then on to college, Tarek was slowly getting nurtured into the art of politics.
एक आदमी का नाम है कुरैशी, रहता दिल्ली में। कहता मैं कुरैश के कबीले से हूँ, मक्के से निकला था वो 1400 साल पहले। ना वो जॉर्डन में रुका, ना इराक में रुका, ना ईरान में रुका, ना बलोचिस्तान में, ना सिंध में, ना राजस्थान में, ना पाकिस्तान में, कहीं नहीं। दिल्ली आ गया। सारे प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद के जो ट्राइब के लोग थे वो दिल्ली में आके कसाई की दुकानें खोली। उसको मैं क्या करूँ? तुम अपने आप को हिंदुस्तानी बोलो, बच्चों के नाम हिंदुस्तानी रखो, तो मैं भी जल्दी जजमेंट नहीं पास करूँगा। तो पुरानी दिल्ली निकालिए जहाँ कोई आदमी ना हो हिंदुस्तानी, जिसका नाम ही कोई अशोक नाम का आदमी नहीं रहता वहाँ। Throughout school, I was nobody because I didn't even have ek ana.
Then you have nothing.
You're nothing.
You're rock bottom.
Where you have very rich friends. They're still my friends.
Correct.
Some of them I just met a couple of months ago. 1955 से आज तक हम 4-5 लोग 20 लोग हैं तकरीबन मिलते। But when I was in college, I realized कि मैं अपने आप को underprivileged समझता हूँ. There were people who were worse off than me by multiple levels and who were far brighter than me in education.
Correct.
So they would come in sponge ki chappal, different color ki pehni bhi, or they would have just one shirt and one pant. So as I said, I met some students who were senior medical students who were communists. I was greatly influenced by the teachings of Marx and the understanding of society's history, how society develops by early reading of Karl Marx and Engels, and I subsequently read a lot about Lenin as well, and I understood about Ho Chi Minh ka pada.
So, your aim was to make a difference?
My aim was to, very simple
or
at
to
that
oppose?
time, to ensure that education was free and students would have to come and go to the colleges at a very minimal rate. By the time I had gone through 3-4 years, a student could go to any part of the city and back and forth for 10 paise, 1 second, 2 आने शायद 10 पैसे या 12 पैसे कुछ ऐसा था. We had done that, dealing with the government and fighting the city and all that.
मुझे पता है कि आपके कॉलेज में आपके जो experiences थे, there was a reason. आप कह रहे हैं कि आपको unknown reason था. You just wanted to do something. You wanted not to experience the same things that you had experienced before.
Endurance.
Endurance, and then you didn't want to be bullied.
Yeah.
Right? You wanted to stand up for your own self.
Yes.
But then, okay, you won. You found a way to win. Then, आपने difference क्या create किया becoming a leader?
Well, on a minute scale, many things about, student fees and how exams are done, वो छोड़ें. What I realize is कि एक society में सिर्फ 2 segments हैं जो जिनसे कुछ तवक्को की जा सकती. You can have expectations of them.
Correct.
And those segments are people who are not worried about getting fired.
Okay.
Who are they? People who are retired and people who are students.
Correct.
Or the unemployed or the homeless.
So you're talking about people who are fearless actually.
My contribution to such would be that I was able to arouse a lot of people. मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल दूं कि जब पाकिस्तान और हिंदुस्तान की जंग होने वाली थी तो हमारी कराची यूनिवर्सिटी में we were able to get about 1,000 people to support the Mukti Bahini.
Wow.
This It's incredible. This is
Tell me one thing. When you
It's-
say you got support, is it because of the power of words, the power of being able to
The truth.
convince people,
no, the power of truth.
the power of, but there's a connection that you need.
Yes,
right?
yes. It is, if you
I
ask
can now
me-
tell you the truth that यहाँ पे कुछ हो गया या इसमें कुछ है. It's the truth. But the way you say the truth, you have to win the hearts. You have to connect with the people to buy
थोड़ा
them.
oratory का है. I was a fairly good speaker. I assume I still am. That is why I'm.
Did you
asked
get
to
this from your father, your mother? I'm
no.
presuming your mom.
No, my mom was a great damper in my life. She made sure that I would not do anything. And at one stage, I left home. I never went back. I lived on the streets for a few days. I never went back home. I never lived with my mom after that incident because she was quite hostile to whatever I did.
Yeah. So Tarek lived in Nazirabad number 2 and I lived in Nazirabad number 1, which was two kind of subdivisions of Nazirabad. A big main road would divide us, so I would cross the road and go to his place all the time, and he will come over. When I would go to Tarek's place, usually his dad would be sitting there outside on the deck kind of area, porch, reading a book. So we will go and Assalamu alaikum and Tarek, is he home? So his response would be, आपको क्या मैं बुरा लगता हूँ? Like, don't you like to talk to me? Yeah. So I said, no, sir, definitely not. And he will ask us a question of what's going on in politics, which was fine. But I still wanted to know if he was home or not, so that I can, in my mind, figure out how long to spend my time with him. I can sit there, talk to him. He was a very interesting person.
Oh, yes.
Because, talking to him about our politics, student level, but he will contribute about the national level. But this thing fits in there and that is this. He was never hostile towards us, like some other parents would say, you are wasting your time, go back to your studies.
He never
said that.
Yeah.
He would always ask me, his first line would be, don't you like to talk to me? क्या मैं आपको बुरा लगता हूँ? So that was fine. I still want to know if he's home or not. So then we can carry on. So interesting, I met him again many years later, but again that was, and he would always talk. Is what I remember. He was always input me.
Very decent man.
This is what happened. So then one time I went, his dad was not there, and he said, come on in, and I sat in the drawing room. So I was in his drawing room sitting, and we were talking. Suddenly his mom knocks the door inside, like, as if telling him, come and get something. He goes in, yes mom, and his mom gave him 2 big glasses of very nice lassi or sharbat or some very good drink. So he brings it over, but he doesn't tell me to drink. He sits there with his head in his hands. What is the meaning of this? Why did my mother give me this? But apparently you had a problem with So you were trying to figure out what
was the
motive behind it. He never asked me to drink. He was not drinking it either. The drink. So Tarek, should I have? Yeah, but why is this?
Because he was very harsh to me.
That I think she came to the campus one time also. We met her there.
And after she came to the campus, I never went back home.
Yeah.
I walked out that night. I remember I slept on a sort of culvert over a nala. They used to have the cemented things. I slept under the moon, solid slab. Then there was a bench. And I called, you remember Abid Ali Sayyid?
Okay, vaguely, yes.
Somehow I got in touch with him. He took me to his home one night. Then I lived for about 10 days with Intizar Zaidi, the guy who was in prison with me.
Yeah.
And I never went back home after that.
Tariq left home, I think. He
Yeah.
came over and stayed with me.
Okay.
So I used to go there just to find. My mother was, बहुत परेशान थी कि तारिक क्यों आ गया इधर, क्या हो गया? मैंने कहा वो गए हैं पेरेंट्स इसके पंजाब, तो ये इस वास्ते आ
When I
गया.
went to college, I met the first student activists who were left of center, close to the Communist Party, and were, I realized for the first time that Pakistan was under a military dictatorship. I didn't know until then.
Well, Afsar and I lived in this same neighborhood.
We lived in Nazimabad, both of us. Block.
I was in 2, you were in 1.
Across the main street,
Yeah.
the two of us. So we'll
And
see
I
each other
think we
all the
met
time.
almost every day, if not every other day. And we had another friend, Mehboob, also in Nazimabad, and the 3 of us were frequent travelers on my
So
one
Tarek
bicycle.
used to have a bicycle, his own bicycle, and he would normally come over to my place, and we'll go to political meetings, political rallies, political, offices like the Friendship House, and we'll ride on his bike. Double riding. One person will sit on the bar in the front,
Yeah.
and we will take turns. When one person would get tired,
Yeah.
he'll say, "Okay, now it's your turn. Aap chalaya."
Aap chalaya.
And we would be doing that for hours without eating or anywhere. And
Honestly.
from Nazimabad, we'll go all the way to Drigg Road, which is a considerable
About
distance.
20, maybe 20
And
miles.
we will just through all kinds of traffics and whatever.
Right.
So
But
from
we went
Nazimabad,
everywhere, and sometimes we were 3. There would be a Mehboob at the back on the
Yes,
carrier.
yes.
We were sitting there
But 2 of us have ridden a bike a lot.
a lot.
And in Karachi, in those days, there was a very wide network of Irani hotels, very cheap, Irani. And there was one very
No, I mean,
close
yeah.
to my place. So usually around midnight, we all be hungry. So we'll leave the apartment upstairs and we'll go down to go and eat at
What
the Irani
was the
hotel.
name of that place? Chaurangi pe tha na?
But there was one behind near the relaxed cinema area.
Oh yes. Yeah. Where Agha used to
yes,
sit.
yes.
This
So we would
fat
go
Iranian
there.
used to sit over there, dispensing tea.
Yes. They will not put tea cups on your table. It would be marble top table. They will always throw the teacup on your.
And you had to catch it.
Yeah, but it would never spill.
Somehow we were highly skilled tea drinkers.
As I was saying that when we would get hungry, midnight, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we would go down to the Irani hotel. And Intizar would be with us most of the time. So one time nobody had any money. We had a good, serving of chai and samosa and biscuits and all. So everybody dug into the pocket. Nobody had, any money for paying the bill.
I never looked in my pockets because
You
I had
So most of us used to be really, really empty pocket guys. So Intizar, very angry, suddenly he rolls up his shirt, takes out his Imam Zamin,
the taviz.
Taviz.
Not
Oh,
Taviz, some money,
Yes,
they do it
Imam
like that.
Zamin, Imam Zamin always has money.
Of
Taviz
course.
will have a dua.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Taviz.
he takes out his Imam Zamin, which his mother gave him
For protection.
so that protection and do well in the exams.
Yes. We cashed the check.
So we used that. He took it out, and the money was more than enough to pay the bill.
तो मैं ये बता रहा था कि हम लोग के इतने बुरे हालात थे कि हम लोग हर जगह से जहाँ गुजरते थे और टेंट लगा है शादी ब्याह का तो हम लोग अंदर जाके खाना खा के निकल जाते थे
क्योंकि कुछ पता नहीं था कब
मिलेगा।
अगला खाना कब मिलेगा, पैसे थे ही नहीं, घर से निकले हुए। एक साली साइकिल वो
बहुत
शुक्र
खाना
करे
खाया।
उसमें गैस वैस कुछ नहीं डलती थी, वो चले जा रहे हैं।
हाँ, फिर और याद आ गई एक चीज
क्या?
गुरु मंदिर पे मैं घर जा रहा था, यूनिवर्सिटी से उतरा और मेरे पास टाइम होता था किराया उतरा
हाँ,
बस का, वो गुम हो गया।
अरे बाप,
मैं गुरु मंदिर से फेडरल बी एरिया दस्तगीर तक वॉक करके गया।
10 पैसे की टिकट थी। उफ,
अनबिलीवेबल,
इतनी
अभी
भूख,
तक याद है मुझे।
इतनी भूख, कई दफा दो दिन गुजर जाते थे खाए हुए। ये अफसर के घर चढ़ के
हाँ, ऊपर
इसका
पहली डिमांड होती थी खाने की।
खाने, ये बैल्कनी में आया चश्मा खाना, ऊपर आओ। वहाँ अफसर की अम्मा, गॉड ब्लेस हर सोल, वो जानती थी कि ये बिल्कुल ही गए गुजरे, खाना वाना मिल जाता था वहाँ से।
So, many ups and downs, but
It's a part of who you are today.
today this is my third country that I'm living in. The first one is inaccessible to me. India is my adopted homeland. I take ownership of it.